Hello everybody. I would really like to title this particular video, The Righteous Perish and No One Takes It to Heart. Today I was watching a video about 5 Boy Scouts who went off into the Grand Canyon with 3 different leaders. Mistakes were made, temperatures skyrocketed, and pretty soon they were very far away from the river, far away from anyone who could give them any kind of help or support, and they had no water. One of the boys in his group was constantly positive and was very, very kind and very helpful to everybody, and he kept sharing his water with everybody else. Unfortunately, just a few meters away from the river, he ended up with heat stroke and severe dehydration, and he died. He passed away. The boys who were with him at the time were able to just happen to run into some people on a boat going down the Grand Canyon, and they screamed for help, and those men were doctors, and they basically got everybody help and were able to get some air flights in for the rest of the ones who were severely dehydrated and very close to death. But unfortunately, that young man, probably because he was so busy sacrificing himself for everybody else, ended up passing away. Now, there is a scripture in the Bible about how the righteous are sometimes taken away and the wicked don't take it to heart. And basically, it's stating that there are righteous people who are basically dying merely to protect them. So the Bible is saying that sometimes the righteous have it so hard, especially from wicked people, that God in His compassion will take them away. Now, I personally really truly believe that if anybody knows that there is somebody who's a minister in a group, they can be a young child, they can be a person in ministry, they can be a pastor. But if you know somebody who is really willing to lay down their life for other people, you can know that that person is righteous and very special to God. Now, the majority of mankind is quite selfish. Even people who belong to God in a special way can be extremely selfish. It isn't very easy to find even children of God who really truly are selfless and self-sacrificial. So when you find those, you really should, instead of feeling jealous or wanting to tear at them because of maybe jealousy or insecurity or conviction, it is probably the very best thing you could ever do to fight for them, to fight for their blessing, to fight for them to have a place in your life, to really make sure that you are able to form some kind of a bond with them. Now, that usually goes against our instincts, because usually if someone convicts us or they shine a little bit brighter, we can very oftentimes have a difficult time even accepting them in our lives or even being kind to them. And that is one of the reasons why God finds it necessary sometimes to pull back His troops or to take His special children up to heaven. And it's always at the greatest of loss for mankind. It doesn't matter what kind of a minister or how much they sparkle for God, but the most self-sacrificial ones are the ones who are at the most danger of being basically eaten alive by incredibly selfish people. So, and those are the people who bring the most blessing, because really, if all of us were unselfish and were really just pouring our resources into everybody and really being self-sacrificial, everybody would have an abundance, everybody would do so well. But the more selfish and the more self-focused people become, the more people are, they end up in a famine of kinds. There's not a lot of goodness coming anywhere or going anywhere. So it is a real problem. So I really truly believe, and I believe that this is true for all ministers. And even some of the most amazing ministers can sometimes have some of the biggest problems. I know that there's lots of debate about specific political leaders or pastors or whatever else like that. But really, truly, those people need grace and mercy just as much as normal people need grace and mercy. And however a person is, however many problems a person has, if they have that heart to really give, then they are a special person and they deserve some kind of respect and honor and some kind of recognition and acknowledgement for that. But usually that's not really quite what's happening. So this video is really a warning that everybody should really learn to recognize who those people are in their midst that are really special. Usually you see that through self-sacrifice, not perfection. They're not perfect, but they have a heart to give out instead of just take all the time. And then those people should fight, the people all around those particular individuals should fight for that person and also for each other. Even if you are special to God in whatever way that you know you are, and you know that you're a minister and you know that you're helping others, it is everyone's responsibility to watch over each other. But it is with particular blessing to watch over the sons of God who have a tendency towards self-sacrifice. Because if you don't watch over them, they'll end up giving all their water to everybody else and they'll die, and then you won't have them anymore. You might have them in heaven, and that might be wonderful and glorious and awesome. But the blessing that one truly sacrificial person can really do on earth is enormous, and we should really do whatever it is that we can to keep those people in our midst. So just watching that video made me think, yes, of course, it was probably that young man being so seriously ill and everything happening the way that it did that ultimately helped them all find help and rescue. His death probably led to the life of all those other people. But it's a very, very sad thing to lose somebody like that. And even watching that video, I could almost kind of cry because, those are people who would just produce blessing for all of their life. So it was really hard for me to watch that video. And also this seems to be a particular season in my life where more and more and more I recognize how valuable a minister is and how little congratulations, appreciation, or anything else a person has. And anytime their life is at risk, that's a really, really scary thing, and people need to take that seriously, and they really need to fight for that person. So that's just my thoughts. Sometimes people get so wrapped up in their day-to-day that they don't even think about how they could help anybody else. They don't think about how to fight for a minister. They don't even know that there's a minister in their midst. They barely even recognize it because they're just so self-absorbed in their own little world. But I hope everybody will change that and start really protecting those self-sacrificial people in their midst with everything that they possibly can. And I guess I'm repeating myself now, but that is really, really important. So that's my thought for today.